I find an image of my grandfather, Dada, in a collection of images my grandmother kept. He's young, fresh shaved, and I hardly recognize him. Yet there's my uncle's eyes, my cousin's jawline, and I imagine this face whilst I listen to his stories. It's 1960s Manchester. Fog clings to brick buildings. A van is parked with a sign painted spices and vegetables. To the newly arrived, this was a beacon of home. Neighbours from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh gathered, united by linguistic overlaps, Hindi, Gujarati, Urdu, Bengali, Tamil and English, and by the complex ache of migration. They found understanding in these fleeting, fragrant moments. They hummed to Lata Mangeshkar singing. Dada came to the UK when the government called for doctors to build the NHS. He arrived first, and then he brought my grandmother, Dadi. 10,000 taste buds hold the memory of home. Turmeric, basmati rice, bindi, fresh coriander and cumin. That van carried sweet reminders of smells that were invited into cloth fibres, whilst strength brewed in pots of karak chai, and hope rested in spice-stained hands. When Indian passports became British ones, and rupees were exchanged for pounds and pennies, belonging rearranged itself. Rights, community, language, all was subtly remapped. Dada was a keen community builder. He founded Jain Samaj in Manchester, and Dada's Jain Samaj brought together two distinct sects, Shvetambar and Digambar, something that would have never happened in India. Sunday dinners became habitual for all the members, a taste of home, and Dada was awarded plaques, invited to Buckingham Palace, and even now the Jain Samaj remains one of his proudest recognitions. His public achievement became his living archive, a visible reminder in the Jain community. I was raised within this multi-generational household, and I grew up observing him and his fluency in Jain traditions, regularly forming Gahuli patterns at Jain Samaj, which are diagrams made with unsplit rice, which symbolizes the liberation from karmic cycles of birth and rebirth. I remember drawing these intricate patterns on slightly raised tables, seated cross-legged on the floor, an inherited movement. The appeal to community build passed down to my father and its own way to me too. Community building feels instinctive, joyful. In 2023, I founded UK South Asian Creatives, a network of over 50 members connecting artists, writers, and cultural practitioners. I've been an educator since 2018, leading interactive workshops in museums, Jain centres, schools, shopping centres, and care homes. Community engagement is deeply embedded in my methodology. I collect, share, and reflect on behavioural patterns, those expressed and passed down, both knowingly and unknowingly through everyday interactions. And I wonder how much of this collecting is really just a search, a quest to uncover different perspectives. Answers to questions I was not able to verbalize, that I've long held about my past, present, and future. In the search for more perspectives, when I faced a difficult crossroad, I was inspired by the Salt Cosmologies exhibition at Somerset House, where Himali Singh Soin observed that the creative imagination is essential in filling archival gaps. I remembered my late Dadi's turmeric-stained M&S cardigan that day. Dadi's name was Surya, which translated to solar deity or sun from Sanskrit. She was made to leave India, and with it, a part of herself. 5,000 miles away, she didn't speak of this. She barely spoke at all. So I listened differently. I noticed how her name became a motif, an appeal or a setting of boundary. Dadi left a silent, unassuming archive of her own. Hangers, plastic bottles, face powder and notebooks, all labelled Surya, or SNS, her initials, labelling all that she felt she could have control over. I find her voice through notes filtered from Jain sermons and then Google translated, where religious devotion and private reflection blur. In plastic Ziploc bags that hold pressed petals and sandalwood, expired passports and grains of rice. Her archive evolved into mine, an expanding, improvised library filled with ambiguity, objects and memory. A place I return to when I face decisions. With ADHD and dyslexia, my ways of seeing are constantly in motion. ADHD becomes the extreme observer, gathering fragments that may seem unrelated, whilst dyslexia, the jumbler, reshuffles and curates these fragments, revealing new patterns, perspectives, and connections. My practice connects together inheritance, historical inquiry, conversations, and collective habits, which I then call to action. Guided by Anekantavada, which is the Jain principle of multiple truths, and Ahimsa, which is the principle of nonviolence, I explore how meaning, reality, can shift with perspective. And in an increasingly polarized world, this philosophy aims to encourage openness and recognizes that truth is ever evolving. I return to games, mazes, and infographics as tools for navigating in multiplicity, systems that enable non-linear forms of learning. Mazes, in particular, act as metaphors for decision-making, value setting, and reflection, within seemingly fixed frameworks, where flow and form exist in tension. A recurring element in my work is my Twilight Language. Inspired by Rax Media Collective's 2017 exhibition and the ancient tantric concept of Sandhya Bhasha, an enigmatic, symbolic language bridging the literal and the spiritual. My version of this language evolved from my multilingual and neurodivergent experiences alongside a fascination of graffiti. Playfulness underpins much of my approach. I first felt its power decoding graffiti that resembled capture images, which are those puzzles that test if you're human or not. For me, play has always been a vital learning strategy, linguistically and materially. While working in schools and in dementia care homes, I saw how people learn, remember, and unlearn through games, invention, and joy. So the Twilight Language became a space to express emotional and intuitive messages that counter conventional expression, but in a playful manner that people can feel connected to other people through their messages. Yet language has its limitations. This realization drew me towards breath, sound, and cymatics, which is the visualization of frequency through material as a way of communicating where words fail. I grew up surrounded by healing frequencies in Indian classical music, hearing my mother's electric tempura being played to pitch her singing and my grandfather play his harmonium. But I re-encountered this power in Oxford at lecture series Adventures into Consciousness, where singer Trita explained how each rag was sung with a focus on breathing to heal the body internally, from low to high. Further research showed how frequency alters mood and behavior. Frequencies, audible and imperceptible, surround us constantly, from birdsong to digital interference.
I don't think I have any red flag, unlike most girls, but
I'm so confused why I'm not married. Like, what's wrong with me?
Toxic masculinity is actively impacting men's mental
First of
health.
all, let's get one thing straight. Crack is cheap.
Calls for only $1 million. Credit plans
You can't
available.
seem to pay attention.
Every cigarette we smoke, it's this fatty stuff. It's the smart thing to do every day. Our hearts can't work properly if our arteries are all clogged up.
So instead, you decided to blow it up with dynamite. This is your yearly dose of internet.
Are you lonely?
Yeah.
In Jain philosophy, even thoughts emit frequencies, attracting karmic matter, also known as pudgala, that binds to the soul. This idea blurs the boundary between intention, energy, and substance, revealing how matter responds to subtle inner states. It fuels my ongoing curiosity into frequency as a form of nonverbal, intuitive communication and healing. Playfulness and karmic theory overlap and return to me in the ancient Indian game of snakes and ladders, also known as Gyan Chopar. Originally a Jain infographic of karmic ascent and descent to reach expanded consciousness, which is known as moksha, a visual teaching tool mapping agency and fate. It is painting, game, and meditative diagram at the same time. Across time, these tools show uncanny parallels. Jain Anekantavada, which is the theory of multiplicity of perspectives, which is dependent on time and space, aligns with quantum physics' observer effect. Jain cosmology, with its layered timelines, mirrors Einstein's theory of relativity. And the rhythmic eye movements of EMDR therapy echo ancient mantra and tantra practices through repetition and pattern. Upon looking back and being in a state of reflection, often reveals unexpected interconnections. More recently, I found myself craving a more intuitive process, so I surrendered control to elements like powder and water, letting flow and unpredictability reshape the work. So I played with contrast, chaos and structure, masking an instinct. My practice sits at the intersection of personal narrative, ancestral memory, and collective questioning. It traces itself through time, whilst holding a mirror to systems that I observe over time, spiritual, political, and societal, that shape our truths, our choices, and our imagined futures.